Move! Come on, get them off.
I'm not drunk.
Move back on your neck!
But in London, as in New York, there grew up a vital connection between the music and the clothes. Punk fashion and makeup was designed from the start to shock and outrage a public that had come to terms with blue jeans and long hair.
It's got nothing to do with the 50s or the 60s. It's a sort of a fashion from the present and the future. It's a symptom. The ideas come from the violence in the streets and kids with no work, out of work, and a general feeling that there's nothing to do, and they always want to be different, and they want to express themselves in a violent and shocking way. It's a grassroots fashion movement. The kids dictate what's going to be worn. No one tells them what to wear. If they don't like it, stuff we sell, they don't buy it.
Where do you live, Granny?
I live in Finchley.
Do you live at home?
Some of the time, yeah. But I mainly like going out places and I get back too late, so my mum and dad don't like it too much.
When you're living at home, do you do your makeup like this?
Yeah, but my mum and dad aren't too pleased about it. They prefer me to go out and do it.
What, they don't want you to be seen leaving their house like that?
I think they're a bit ashamed, really, you know. They think, you know, I brought my daughter up well, but, you know, now look at her.
It's like a comic strip.
Something out of space or something. You never know.
What do your mum and dad do?
What, for a living?
Yeah.
My dad works for television, he works for ATV. And my mum's just an ordinary housewife.
And what did you look like before?
Oh, sweet.
What colour was your hair?
It was sort of like a golden ash blonde.
What length?
About just down to here, you know. So I've always had my hair done different styles, you know, but it was always long. And suddenly one day, my friend cut my hair. Mum came upstairs and I sort of hid into the wardrobe pretending I was hanging up my stuff. She goes to me, "Oh, your hair's on the chair like this."
How do you make it spiky?
Well, I mean, at the moment it's sort of gone curly, but usually I sort of wash it and dry the roots standing up like this all over. Then I put gel on it, you know, hair gel, rub it all in. Usually stands up, if I'm lucky.
Of music and fashion is one of the factors that has helped punk to succeed where previous exclusively musical vogues had failed. And as the new bands caught on among young people, a backup industry developed to support them. And record shops specialised in selling records on tiny punk labels, and Xerox punk magazines boosting bands like the Stranglers.
Ain't got time to wait. I said something better change.
The established record companies were at first slow to respond. Di Davis, one of the managers of the Stranglers, had to wait 6 months before United Artists executive Andrew Lauder finally reacted.
It just didn't particularly appeal to me when I first heard it because it didn't sound like anything else and it wasn't anything I thought I was looking for at the time.
A year later, you're managing a band called 999. Now,
Yeah.
what's the reaction of the music industry to them?
Oh,
a
you
year
can't
after
keep
the
them
whole...
away. You can't
Yeah.
keep them away. I mean, within a week, we took the band on after doing about 3 gigs, and within a week of that, we had about 8 record companies ringing us up, half of whom hadn't even seen the band, offering sort of preposterous deals. Or if not preposterous deals, offering lunch.
So, by the summer of '77, punk had become a success. It had its own hit parade in the music press. Punk Discs had scaled the conventional top 20, tipping out middle-of-the-road bands like ABBA. In June alone, Virgin Records, who had signed the Sex Pistols after EMI and A&M had dropped them, sold 200,000 copies of Sex Pistols records. And from all over the country, hopeful bands were driving down to the capital. Bands like Dead Fingers Talk from Hull.
A gig here for £5 than a gig in County Durham for £100 because you get a lot more out of it, right? And like, we're in this business to make it. We want to be successful, right? We don't do anything else. And so London's where it's at, without a doubt.
Yeah, playing up there, even though you're getting great responses and fairly good money, is not furthering your career.
Knows about it, do they?
What do you think, Bobo? I mean, are you happy to have come down to London?
Yeah, I'm glad to be in London.
What sort of things have happened since you've come to London? I mean, where have you played for a start?
We did the Roxy. We've done a lot of gigs that we've been doing for a fair bit, like the Greyhound, Rochester Castle.
And where are you all living?
This is my house.
Do you like our house?
That's my kitchen over there, that cookery. This is my bed here.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? How long will you be prepared to carry on plugging away in London?
As long
Always.
as it takes.
To get what though? To get a
Success.
record deal? Or
Yeah,
what?
we want a record deal, we want the press to come and see us, we want to build up our fans,
We want to
we want to go and play.
We love entertaining people.
The Roxy in Covent Garden. Clubs like this were the starting point for aspiring punk bands. A year ago it was turned from a fading gay disco, the Shagarama, into the 70s punk equivalent of the Liverpool Cavern Club. Every Wednesday at the Roxy is audition night, when punk bands like Nothing from Caterham in Surrey hopefully queue up to perform in front of record company scouts.
It's a place to play, you see. It's not a bad place to play.
Me and him are doing 3 A-levels, so we can't afford to.
We're schoolboys.
When did you finish school?
I've got another year to do yet. I'm halfway through 3 A-levels.
Really?
I'm doing English, British Constitution and Geography. He's doing maths, physics and chemistry.
Meanwhile, to the sumptuous offices of the major record companies like CBS in Soho Square, the success of punk rock has brought both a promise and a problem. The promise for UK Managing Director Maurice Oberstein is of a boom in the pop business, and the problem...
I had a problem with the new wave for punk bands in terms of trying to separate my experience, which told me you had to be a professional in the musician sense, that you could play your instrument particularly well, that every lead guitarist I looked at had to play as well as, you know, fill in the blank, whether it's Beck or Hendrix, that I looked at a drummer on the basis of his technical virtuosity. That suddenly you came up with bands who seemed to be unschooled in what was your normal touchstone of decision-making. Did they play well? Could you hear the lyrics? Did you get a feeling that this was something that moved in the stream of another band? It was all new in the sense of suddenly being a revival of high-energy music, played with low-energy intensity in terms of these huge 10,000-watt PAs. I mean, that was really the distinction. That suddenly you were getting an awful lot of energy that you might get from a Led Zeppelin or from a heavy metal band that was coming across the footlights from this little stage tucked away in the Roxy. Question. We had to rethink whether we were capable as people to judge what our audience who buy our records wanted.
Do you think you should employ people at CBS to look for bands who are the same generation, if you like, as the people making the music?
That's a hoary old question. That's like saying, should we choose singles by having a teenage panel, or should we choose the next Donny Osmond single by having a group of 12-year-old girls decide? No, it's our business to be able to make these decisions, right or wrong.